That'll teach me to go in with expectations, I suppose. Ironheart, second half. That intro makes it sound harsher than I actually feel about it. It's fine. It's fine. As a complete package, it's probably one of the more solid Marvel series, to be honest. But at this point, I don't consider that to be a particularly high mark. It doesn't nosedive the way a lot of them do. A lot of them will have a point of completely losing me. A lot of them, it's at the end. Some, it's somewhere in the middle. Some lost me immediately. This one never fully lost me. But if you saw my review of the first three, you might remember there were a number of things that I said, boy, I hope they do something with that. I hope they're going to explore this. I hope they'll do that. Yeah, they didn't really do any of it, with one exception. There was one thing that I said I would like to see executed, and they did do it and do it fairly well, which was to take the crew that Riri had been, doing the heisty stuff with, and take these, charming, casual people and make them intimidating and make them turn nasty against her. I got a scene of that, and I think it was pretty well executed for that specific effect. I do not buy for even an instant that Riri held her own in a hand-to-hand fight with the siblings. Like that was like the way she ultimately got away from them. Cool, perfect, no notes. But like the fact that she held her own in a hand-to-hand combat situation, like, oh, but she's grabbing improvised weapons and whatnot. Are you telling me that these two chuckleheads don't know how to avoid the swing of an improvised weapon? No. Yeah, no, that was kind of cheap. And also in the aftermath, like Clown turning on, like questioning Hood and sort of turning on him on the basis of like, oh, well, you had Stewart killed. Like, did none of them think that Stewart had been killed? That makes me think that they're all idiots. Like, look, I could buy it. Here's the angle they could have gone. It could have been more of a they're choosing not to think about it. And like Riri shoves it in their face, like, you're ignoring that fact, but you know he's dead and you know Hood killed him. But instead, it's like oh, look into it, he's dead. I'm like, none of you suspected that? Really? Really? In a criminal organization, somebody was replaced and you think he was just allowed to leave? What? Oh, come on. So, like, even the thing that I started as a compliment on it, it's getting to a bit of frustration. Like, it's not inherently a problem that the show chose to focus on some other stuff rather than the stuff that I would have liked to have seen. So as a reminder, I felt like that there were hints that we were going to deal with the idea that Natalie wasn't really Natalie, that all she could be, since she is the result of a scan of Riri's brain, is an incomplete image. Couldn't know everything that ever happened to Natalie, and like they could have really done something when Natalie's brother shows up, and like he could have asked about something that Riri wasn't around for, and therefore this Natalie wouldn't know or wouldn't remember, and that could have been like a real knife twist moment, and would have kind of justified him rejecting this thing a little bit more. Not that they don't justify his rejecting this. Like, I do buy it. But, like, it also could have kind of shoved it in Riri's face. Like, you're treating it like this is just her, and it's not. And it's not her because it's AI. It's not her because it can't be. You don't have a complete image of her, but it just doesn't go there. And I felt like there were hints that it might. It doesn't. It also doesn't really deal with like personal guilt for the fact that Riri is responsible for John dying, or at the very least made the choice to not rescue him. Even if you want to tell me like, well, it was Natalie that made that choice. Okay, fine. So it wasn't Riri who decided to leave him behind. That still should have been a confrontation. And then like the stuff with Ezekiel is a little bit mixed. Like, I think the actor tried to do the most that he could with the character who started out interesting and then became Electro, who we have at home. And he still kept trying to do the most he could with that, but meh. Hood was pretty good. Like his backstory, daddy issues. What a shock. It's the Marvel Universe. It's always daddy issues. But, between his backstory and the way he played it, I think the character came across pretty well. The magic stuff. Okay, so this is personal to me. And again, it's not a case of like, this is objectively bad, but it's like, this irritates me. I don't have a problem with anything having a magic system. I don't have a problem with Marvel having a magic system. And by and large, the way, say, Doctor Strange handles it, I'm fine with. I've gotten annoyed when magic has come up in other Marvel properties. I didn't really like the way that it was handled in Agatha All Along, and I don't really like the way that it's handled here. Because it's one thing when it feels like it's operating on completely made up rules. Cool, you can do what you want. But when you start tying it into actual practices of witchcraft that we have in this world, that feels cheap, lazy, and kind of trivializing to me. You're taking a thing that actual people with certain beliefs do, like burn sage around the house as a spiritual cleansing, and you're tying it to this notion of being able to tell that something is pulling energy from a dark dimension. Like that, Don't touch the imagery of real world witchcraft if you're going to be doing witchcraft this fantastical. Don't do that. At least for me. That annoys me. Probably nobody else, but it irritates me. It's kind of like how I deal with it because it didn't bother me at the time I watched it, and at this point I've just kind of accepted it. But if I were to watch, say, Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time now, I'd probably be fine with most of the magic stuff in it, except for when they call it Wicca and call Willow a Wiccan, because, no. That's a thing, and that's not what you're doing here. So I don't know if I explained my frustration with that. But again, it's not really that important, and the actresses that they have, both the mother and the daughter, playing the magical characters, they were fine. They had decent energy. I like that they brought back the kid with the wagon. I actually liked his presence. I liked him a lot. And, there's that sense of family energy when they're all working together. So, spoilers if you hadn't already guessed. Marvel finally pulled the trigger on Mephisto. I would not have called Mephisto's debut being in Ironheart, and I really wouldn't have called Mephisto being played by Sacha Baron Cohen, of all people. And I really wouldn't have called that he actually does pretty well with the part. Like when he started, like when we first see him with Hood, I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is working for me. But then when Hood kind of demands to talk to him and he shows up again and he has dropped the happy, I'm such a big fan, American accent, and he's just this far more casual, far more just sinister sounding accent, partially because there's no pomp behind it. He's just talking real low key in his English accent. And it's like, whoa, that's a very different energy from what you had before. And it feels so much more dangerous. Because the way he presented himself initially kind of reminded me a little bit of the TV show Lucifer, which for the record, I watched 3 episodes of and went, this isn't for me. I get why other people like it, and that's fine. But it was that kind of level of performativeness. It's like, I'm here to perform being the devil. And then when he showed up later, it felt like there was no performance. Like, this is just him. I'm like, when you're not playing the bit, you are scary. But that's not about Cohen's performance. I'm not saying he screwed it up at first. No, Mephisto as a character, he has a persona and a bit that he does. And there's sometimes that he just drops it. Because you're not worth it right now. And I like that a lot, actually. So, yeah. I would like to see more of him in future. The ending on this is a little... It's one of those things where I really would like Marvel to learn their lesson and stop ending these miniseries either with blatant setups or dangling cliffhangers. Especially when they are miniseries like this in Moon Knight, same freaking thing. You end it on a note that it's like, well, if that's the last we ever see of this, that's really unsatisfying, and I don't know if we're gonna see any more of this. So I'd like them to stop doing that. That having been said, I made the comparison to Moon Knight. It's nowhere near as egregious as Moon Knight. The way Moon Knight's last episode is, it's like it's not a complete faceplant, but boy is it unsatisfying. And this does at least wrap up its immediate story pretty decently, all things considered. But it's not. It doesn't feel like an ending. I think part of this is a holdover of the problems of like the fact that this is based off comic books, that bringing back these characters is as easy as writing them into a script for any of the various Marvel comics you have and just getting somebody to draw it. It's not that simple in this. You have to have the actors on contract. You have to be sure it fits in their schedule. You can't promise me that you'll pick up on this again. I mean, you can't really do it in comics either, but it's way less effort in comics to pick up on and continue and wrap up and build on this stuff. Whereas in the TV and the movies, I don't trust you to not just drop it like you have with a lot of stuff lately. So, but again, I think what helps is Riri was a solid character who stayed true to who she was as a character, all the way through, start to finish. Even the decisions she made at the very end, because I mentioned it in my previous video, like I like that she is allowed to make mistakes and to make choices that are like, I'm not sure that's the best idea. And so that meant that her final choice to actually cut a deal with Mephisto made sense, whereas if they hadn't built her up properly, that could have really felt like a betrayal of her character or a cop-out. And it didn't feel like either one. It felt like a natural extension. We'd seen her make a lot of mistakes. Meanwhile, yeah, for sure. But she's made plenty of mistakes, and this feels like the kind of mistake she might make. So yeah, I think she is a really solid central pillar that the entire thing is built on. And I think for as much as I've kind of complained about the overall plotting and story structure of the thing, it holds up on the basis that she is real solid. So yeah, it was pretty good. It still let me down because like it had all the stuff that it could have done. It just dropped it. Didn't, but. See, Marvel, this is why you should be hiring me as a consultant on these things. I'll give you notes to make this stuff better. Because some of this stuff was even stuff that you set up. I just want to bring out what's good. But I'm not going to do it for free. Pay me. That's it. How wild would it be if I got contacted on the basis of having said that? Like, hey, you want to consult on a script? Yeah, like, no, that's not a thing, but I don't know. I got to laugh thinking about it. Ironheart! What'd you think about it once it was all said and done? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. Those all help. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lutfula, Auntie Kate 808, Mira G, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Movie Turtle, Oliver B, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Mary Mello, Becky Sparks, Loki Eris, Tracy Scrabbit, Pal Barabajoggle, and Sir Didymus is my favorite. Don't worry, the rats are all fine, but my rat wrangler is not here right now, and I thought we could have Archie say hi. Or not.